So this is a re-recording from my presentation at the Digital Expert Summit about automated outreach over LinkedIn. This re-recording will be without the Q&A, but as it's shared on YouTube, you can be asking questions and comments, and I will be answering them later on. You will have also in the description of video and first comment a link toward the PDF of the presentation. So if you want to have the slide, you can be downloading it quite easily. This presentation is about automated outreach over LinkedIn. And before getting into it, I just would like to present where LinkedIn automated outreach fit in the overall lead generation toolkit you can have access to as a salesperson or marketing person. So here you have a small graph of different channels you can be using for lead generation. On the right side, you will have the more inbound type of channel like SEO and leveraging website to get referral traffic like Quora. Those approach are very interesting on long run because they will give you a steady stream of leads on the long run, and they're relatively cheap on the long run. Main issue with the channel is it takes a lot of time for them to be powering up. On the other hand of the spectrum, you will be finding like cold outreach, so outbound tactics, and this is where automated outreach LinkedIn can be fitting in. That it will give you some nice result on short run, but it's relatively expensive channel, and you will have some saturation very quickly because you have a limited pool of lead you can be outreaching over LinkedIn. So LinkedIn outreach is very similar to cold emailing. It has few advantages versus emailing. One of those advantages is you will have usually a better engagement rate over LinkedIn than over email because it's a less saturated channel. Like you will have much higher click-through rate than what you would expect from email. You can also have better targeting. On LinkedIn, you can be using any of the data points from a LinkedIn profile for targeting. For instance, if you're in B2B, you can be using the job title of person, which is a really powerful segmentation criteria for any company which is doing B2B generation. This data point is not necessarily accessible depending on which discovery tool you'll be using for cold emailing. For example, Enter.io is not going to provide you the job title of person, and it is very critical in terms of targeting. Also, LinkedIn will make you follow up slightly easier, as when you outreach people over LinkedIn, usually you start by adding them to your network. Once people are in your network, you have a passive type of follow-up, which is every time you'll be sharing some content on LinkedIn, your leads will see it and they can potentially be re-engaged and reconvert from it. So this is something which will not be possible with emailing. You cannot be subscribing someone to a newsletter without their consent, with the new GDPR law and so on. So this is a big plus of LinkedIn. You have this easy follow-up. Main drawback of LinkedIn is the scale. LinkedIn will not let you contact 2,000 people in a day over LinkedIn. So you will have to spread your campaign over time or over different accounts if you want to be reaching high scale. Typically, if you're working with Sales Navigator, it's good to not go over 100 contact requests a day. If you're on standard account, 50 contact requests a day is really safe. Now, when it comes to technology, we are living in a wonderful age that you can be automated. Everything you are doing on internet, anything you are doing on the browser or LinkedIn can be automated. Now, that doesn't mean you should be automated everything, and you should not be automated everything. If you should memorize only one thing from the presentation, is this line here. You should not automate everything. And I will try to point out in this presentation, in some cases where it makes sense to not automate some tasks and keep them manually to have better conversion on this task and so on and so on. This presentation will not be about technology. I will not be speaking here about tool. Here are 3 tools I will recommend you if you want to go into linear automation, but I will not go into it because those are not success factor. What will make you successful or not on LinkedIn are 2 things. What targeting you're using, what copy you're using. If you're getting those wrong or one of those wrong, it doesn't matter which automation tool you are using, you will not get any lead, you will not get a good conversion rate from LinkedIn. So I will focus this presentation on how you can think about those 2 things and how you can design a campaign which can work. The tool is a detail about how you can be implementing it. If you're interested in the topic, you can reach out to me in the comments or over LinkedIn, and I can give you some advice about what to use when. When it comes to targeting, the most powerful targeting you can usually find is from Sales Navigator. It will give you access to really advanced search filter. However, Sales Navigator is relatively expensive. It's $70 a month. So it's not always makes sense for you to invest in Sales Navigator. A lot of time, it's good for you to stay on just a standard LinkedIn search. Sales Navigator has a free trial of 1 month. However, if you are new to LinkedIn outreach, LinkedIn lead generation, don't start right away your free trial of Sales Navigator. It is better that you start using standard LinkedIn search, test your copy, test how your generic targeting is. Once you are ready, start your free trial of Sales Navigator because you want to take the most out of this free trial and check if it makes sense for you to be using it or not. So I always advise start by standard LinkedIn search. It can already give you quite interesting targeting. Those are the two main ways to get targeting over LinkedIn, but they are not necessarily the best. There are a few more creative ways which will allow you to have niche target audience, which can be highly relevant depending on what you want to do. One thing you can be doing is to contact people active on a specific hashtag. For example, here's the hashtag lead generation. This is interesting if you want to be outreaching influencer on a topic. So it is good to ask for feedback about some product, or it is good to try to hire affiliates. That LinkedIn is automatically generating those feed of hashtag based on which person are the most influential for the specific hashtag based on number of view and number of comments they get on their post containing this hashtag. So it is a really powerful way to be targeting influencer. My favorite way to get niche audience is to target member of a group. If you have a group which is tailored for your industry, you can extract all member of it, contact them. I will, at the end of the presentation, give you a very powerful hack, which is working only for group targeting, and which can give you tremendous response rates, so just stay tuned until the end of the video to see it. Last way to create a target audience, which can be even better than group sometimes, is to target attendee of an event. So here's an example, which was like the event I was speaking at. If you say that you are going to attend the event, you will have access when you click on the list of attendee to this LinkedIn search. What's interesting is you are redirected to a standard LinkedIn search. So you can plug this URL into your standard LinkedIn automation tool to basically scrap a LinkedIn search, and you will have all the people who plan to attend this event. You have a link here to the specific phantom you need to use if you want to use it with Phantom Buster. What's important is this gives you very good targeting because people attending this event are interested in lead generation, and they're interested in lead generation in 2020 at the time where the event happened. That's one issue you can have with group. You can be getting member of a group about lead generation. They are interested in lead generation, but you don't know when they were interested in lead generation. Because you can have people who joined the group 2-3 years ago and which are no more interested in lead generation. It's not an issue you will have with the event. So that's why the event can be very powerful. You have two limitations with event, that you can check in attend only for events which are in the future. And you need to check in that you attend the event in order to see the member. So you need to be back here searching for those events. An easy way to do it is to make a LinkedIn Google search using the site parameter for LinkedIn/event. That will restrict the LinkedIn Google search to only LinkedIn event page. And then you can add the keyword you're interested in, like startup, and the time in the future to get some event which will actually happen in the future. And that's can allow you to have like very nice niche audience. I made a specific article tutorial about this topic, which is step by step I can be doing it. You have the link in the PDF, so you can be checking it out if you're interested about it. It is a very powerful way to make niche audience. There's usually going to be a relatively small audience, but which can give you a very good conversion rate because they are very well targeted. Now, all those approach will give you a list of LinkedIn profile. It is good practice to then scrap all those profile and add some extra filter based on the data you can be scrapping. I have linked here an article I made, which is how you can be doing this to split your leads depending on the language of their profile. This is, for example, super interesting if you're targeting, let's say, Switzerland, where some people speak Italian, some people speak German, some French, and it can be a deal breaker if you don't contact people in the proper language. So by doing this, you can be splitting your database in different campaign for different language and get a far better conversion rate. Other information from profile, which can give you nice extra targeting, are the job title, obviously, and also the skill of people is something which can be used also for getting nice targeting. If you want to have people which have skill in a specific domain, it can give you a very interesting niche targeting. So that's more or less all about the targeting. Now, when it comes to the outreach, this is a process which is turned out to follow. You send a contact request, check if people accept it. If they do, you check if they reply. And if they don't reply, you send your template automated follow-up. If they reply, it is strongly advised that you do the follow-up manually. The reason is you cannot predict what people will reply. Most of the time, they will just reply, hey, thank you for connecting, or nice to meet you, and your standard follow-up should be fine enough with it. But sometimes they will be asking you a question. And if you send them the standard template you have prepared, it will show that you didn't read the answer, and it can make many people upset. So be aware that the first step in which it might make sense to do stuff manually rather than automatically. Check if people reply and follow up automatically only if they did not reply. Now, the main issue in this process is you need people to accept your contact request. And here, conversion rate is not great. You can expect between 10 and 40% conversion rate here. And this means you will be losing more than half of your lead database. So if you made your targeting very well, that you know people there are like super high value target for you, you might want to even send contact requests manually because you can then customize them better and have a better response rate. So if you are creating a really nice target audience, you want to do the whole outreach manually, but you can still be using automation to build up a nice niche audience. I told you before, scrap attendee of event, scrap their profile to add some extra data, some extra filtering, and then you have a list of very focused people you want to be contacting manually. So that's another point where automation can work. Now, the tricky part is how do you make the follow-up? This is something which will require you a lot of creativity and a lot of craft regarding the copywriting. Most of people are just sending some sales pitch right after they got accepted in a network. This kind of work to some extent, like you might get 1-2% people which will be responding, checking your website. So you can have a little bit of conversion, but it's not a great conversion. There are much more smarter way you can be doing this follow-up. One way which is working quite well is instead of sending a sales pitch, ask people question. Usually people like if you ask them question, people are curious by nature, they want to help. So if you ask questions, they will respond. And this is actually the type of thing you will be doing if you are doing a proper like sales in face-to-face. You start by making some sales discovery, ask people what is their current pain point so you can customize the follow-up and the pitch you have behind. So why not to do it on LinkedIn? You can just be asking people, hey, thanks for connecting. And you ask questions which are relevant for you to qualify leads. This will give you a relatively good response rate. You have about half of people almost will be responding to this. Drawback is you need to be handling the response manually. So that you cannot predict what they'll be responding to your message. And so you cannot make an automated follow-up based on what they respond. However, like it's not a big workload. I mentioned it's good to be outreaching 50 people a day. Less than half of those people will be accepting, so you will have about 20 people to be following up with. It's not a big workload, and the human beings can easily handle it like in less than an hour a day. It's pretty fine. Another way you can get very good response is simply to ask for feedback. This works very well combined with the targeting based on hashtags. So this is a copy from a campaign that I'm actually running right now for my service, which is data mining for Quora. And we are targeting people which are active on the hashtag Quora on LinkedIn. We play a bit on the ego that we say, hey, I saw you were an influencer on Quora, so people are happy that we acknowledge their skill. And then we just ask people, okay, we launch this, can you check it out? Say what you think about it. This is not sales pushy at all. We are just asking feedback. We are not asking people to actually, subscribe for the tool, start paying for it. We just want feedback. And this will give very good response rate. It gives very good click-through rate because you are including a link to your website, and actually some people will be converting from this link. So it is a really powerful way to do follow-up. It will give you really valuable data. If you are early stage startup, I strongly advise you to make this kind of outreach, contact influencer and ask them what they think about your product. If you're early stage startup, your product is really crap, and it's good to have like a feedback of people who have experience in the domain. It can also be used if you are established startup but moving to a new market. You can be contacting influencer in this specific market, ask again for feedback, be humble, and ask them, okay, what do they think about your product and if it's relevant for their market or not. That still requires manual follow-up, but it gives you very good insight for product marketing in addition to potentially give you some interesting leads. So this is one of my favorite copy. One way to make follow-up, which requires a lot of craft, is to give a sales pitch without giving a sales pitch. The logic behind this is you will be asking a question and you will provide a version of your answer. In the version of your answer, you can be including your product, but it needs to be included kind of organically. This is an example of campaign I'm running to promote a podcast about analytics. So I'm contacting all members of a LinkedIn group, and I'm reminding them, okay, that they are in touch with this. I'm asking them how they get up to date about the topic of analytics. I mention the podcast which should be advertised, but I'm also mentioning a very interesting Medium channel, which is the Word Data Science, which can be also very interesting for member of this group. So as you are providing values that you are giving back a to a potential answer, people give you like very good feedback from it, that they don't see it as sales pushy. You're giving them value, so they're really happy from receiving it. And what's nice with this is you could fully automate this. You in theory don't have to be reading what people are responding, because most of them will be clicking on the link. If they're interested, they will convert on the website, and you don't have to do any follow-up after that on LinkedIn. It is good to still be checking from time to time what people respond, because it will give you interesting information about back what's the competition, what other information source they are following to keep up to date about the topic, and so on. But if you design your message properly, this doesn't require any follow-up, which is pretty great. Now, there is one more way, which is that you will be offering something for free. People like free stuff. So for example, you can be running a competition. I had one client who ran a competition to design a full landing page for a competition, which was giving away a free product, which is quite expensive for them. This landing page include like case study about what you can do with it, so people can understand right away what the product is, what the value proposition is. And it includes a form to sign up to competition, which include all the main question to qualify lead for this business. So if people actually fill in the form, they have a qualified lead for sales to potentially follow up on. This is also something you could be for automating, because you are delegating the follow-up to the website, to this landing page. You don't have to make any follow-up on LinkedIn after sending this message. Drawback of this approach is it is a lot of work for the marketing, as you need to prepare a nice landing page, you need to optimize this landing page and so on and so forth, but you can get very nice conversion rate from this approach. Now, there is one last way you can be doing a follow-up, and this is not sending a message, it's to invite people to attend an event. You can easily create an event on LinkedIn and invite all your contacts automatically or contact which are matching some criteria. For example, I tested it with like the event I was speaking at, which was a Digital Expert Summit. I created a specific LinkedIn event for my specific talk about it, and I invited all my contacts which were working in sales or marketing. This took me in total like 15 minutes to set up and invite everybody. It gave me some interesting results because from this, I restarted conversation with 3 leads which never converted to my consulting, and it helped me to like get up to date about what they were doing and how I could be helping them potentially. So this is very interesting because you're not sending a message, so it's a bit less intrusive than sending a message. When you invite someone to an event, it will appear on the network tab as a notification. It's just a notification. It's not a message. It's quite like soft way of following up. Like it's not self-pushy at all. And what's interesting with this approach is you can potentially do it several times. Like you can be several times organize an event, invite the same person again. So I think it's really relevant. If you are ever running a webinar, ask all your salespeople to be inviting their connection using this, and you can be getting some really interesting follow-up based on that. I will definitely keep on experimenting with this. If I get some interesting result, I will make some Medium article about step-by-step how you can be leveraging this event. I definitely think there is a big potential for that, especially regarding current COVID situation that you have a lot of remote event going on. This can be really a way to go for following up of your contact on LinkedIn. Now, as promised, let's go back to automating group. A big pain point you have in the outreach workflow I show you so far is you need people to accept the contact request, and you are losing more than half of your database here. What if you could fully bypass this stage? This is something you can do when you're targeting member of a group. So if you go to any LinkedIn group and you go to the list of member, you will see here a nice message button. And if you look at here, those people are not in my network. They are second degree, they are third degree. I can still send them a message. And when you send a message using it, it's not consuming your email credit from a premium subscription. So you can recontact every member of a group for free. Obviously, this is on the online interface, so you can be automating it. I made a script to automate this and to be sending message to all members of a group. Now, it has one big limitation, which is that the message you are sending doing this need to be perfect. In the standard outreach, you are first sending a contact request, which already includes a message. People, when they accept, they might have checked your profile, and then you send a follow-up. So you are still a stranger, but they know a little bit about you. When you're doing this, those people know nothing about you besides the fact you're in the same group. And it means you need to be really crafty and really smart in how you design this one-shot message. I tested it in 2 approaches. One of them was to invite people to a competition which give free stuff. This worked very well. That give 4 to 5 times better conversions than contacting people via contact request. And I also tried it to promote a side project marketing, which is basically a free product that you are giving to people, which is relevant to which has synergy with your main product. And as it's free stuff, again, it got very good feedback that people are happy from receiving it. So this is the 2 ways I found so far. If you're interested in trying it out, you can definitely reach to me over LinkedIn and we can check it out. Now, just in summary, you have 2 main success factors when you're designing a campaign on LinkedIn: targeting, copy. You need really to spend a lot of time designing your campaign, thinking about those 2 points. Choosing automation tool, setting up automation tool, it's a detail. You need really to have those one working well. And when you are making the copy great. Like, don't be sales pushy at all. Like, that's the best way to have zero conversion, is to be sales pushy on LinkedIn. You need to be very careful about how you're crafting your copy for LinkedIn. Now, that's all. There won't be question answer here because it's a recorded video. You can follow me on Medium if you're interested in this kind of tutorial that I'm posting quite often, some step-by-step about making specific workflow for LinkedIn. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask on the comment section here.